Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and another news roundup together with Alex from Star Wars Explained, the last one of the year, and we will today be covering all the Star Wars gaming, lore and movie news from December 2018, so let's dive straight into it. Starting off with the gaming news. In gaming news for December 2018, we first of all have Battlefront 2, which received a smaller December update with some bug fixes to the heroes, as well as a new General Kenobi skin that's obviously based off his appearance in the Clone Wars series. There was also quite a bit of confirmation on stuff coming out next year, on top of the things we already know. First of all, that the lightsaber combat will be improved next year by removing the stagger when you block a lightsaber, as well as further stamina changes to make the combat more fluent. And they also confirmed that we will be getting armored clone officers, something that people have been requesting for quite a while instead of the current naval officer skin that you have. Moving on to the large-scale game mode that is coming out in February, they confirmed that we will be playing in the interiors of the Venators and Dreadnoughts from the Clone Wars, as well as on the ground. So we will not only be limited to being on the ground, but we will be able to play on board the ships and on the ground. But how that exactly works is something we will learn more about next year. And lastly, we got a first tease for Anakin and Dooku's voices through an article where they interviewed Matt Lanter as well as Corey Burton and gave us this little audio clip with some banter in between them.
My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
Good. Twice the pride, double the fall.
This is an unedited clip though without any effects, which might be why they don't sound 100% accurate to the Clone Wars series. Dooku is coming out in January and Anakin in February. As for Galaxy of Heroes, they added a Grand Arena game mode, which is a tournament style PvP where you face off against other players in 1 versus 1 matches in a group of 8, and the more you win within the group, the better rewards you get. They also added a new character, C-3PO, through a legendary event in the middle of the month. As for Star Wars Force Arena, the developers have now confirmed that the game is actually shutting down in March next year, and you can no longer spend real money in the game. It's always sad to see a game go, but it seems like there was no surprise to the people actually playing this game, as it didn't have the best reputation for being a very good game, and it also contained a lot of pay-to-win mechanics, so maybe in the end it was for the better that the game was shut down. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was also added to Origin and EA Access, so you can now access that completely free if you do have Origin or EA Access, and they also added some classic Star Wars games to Origin, such as Empire at War, the original Battlefront 2, KOTOR 1 and 2, and more. Lastly, I wanted to briefly mention some Star Wars Fallen Order leaks, and that seems to be coming from a fairly reliable source, as some of the information in this post has been cross-verified by other sources, but I would still take it with a grain of salt. The source claims to have taken part of a marketing presentation from Disney, so he does have some bullet points on different things, including Fallen Order. So according to him, the game will be released in November next year and will take place 5 years after the Revenge of the Sith. He said the main character's name is Cal, and there has been a lot of speculation if this could be Kanan, also known as Caleb Doom, as that would line up with the name Cal, but it's only speculation as of right now. And lastly, he did also say that he heard the Inquisitors being mentioned, more specifically the 9th and 2nd sister, who might show up as one of some of the main protagonists in the game. But that's all for the gaming news of December. Now over to Alex for the movie and canon news.
Thanks, Elliot. Things were pretty light in movie news. Empire magazine is claiming that John Boyega has confirmed Episode 9 will take place 1 year after The Last Jedi, but they don't provide an actual quote or anything, so I'd take that with a grain of salt. Director Kevin Smith also got to visit the set for a week, and he claimed he saw things from across all the movies, saw the biggest set he's ever seen, and saw a career best performance. Like I said, it's a slow news month, but I'll take what I can get. Moving on to television, Lucasfilm has finally officially announced Pedro Pascal as the main character in The Mandalorian, along with Gina Carano, Giancarlo Esposito, Emily Swallow, Carl Weathers, Omid Abtahi, Werner Herzog, and Nick Nolte rounding out the cast. That's a fantastic sounding group if you ask me. They also announced Ludwig Göransson as the composer, who has previously done great work for Black Panther, Creed, Community, and more. And finally, on Christmas Day, Jon Favreau shared a picture of IG-88, so we can safely assume that we will see the droid bounty hunter take part in the show as well. The Cassian Andor series has hired Stephen Schiff as its showrunner. He's known for his previous work on the FX show The Americans, which is another spy story. I actually started watching it after this announcement, and so far it's definitely intense and thought-provoking. I can see him doing some great stuff with Cassian and his troubled history. In book news, Thrawn Treason by Timothy Zahn was announced for a summer 2019 release. Thrawn's loyalties will be tested when Eli Vanto returns with dire news from the unknown regions. I'm always excited to read more Thrawn stories. A new comic series surrounding Darth Vader was also announced, likely as a replacement to Chuck Wendig's cancelled Shadow of Vader. This 5-issue run will be called Vader Dark Visions and will supposedly show us a side of Vader we've never seen before. Finally, ABC premiered a first look at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening next year at Disneyland and Disney World, featuring extra footage of the 2 rides we currently know about, Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. That's it for movie, TV, and canon news, so now, back to Elliot.
Thank you, Alex. That brings this video to an end. If you aren't already subscribed to Alex, make sure to head over there for all things Star Wars lore, movies, series, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.